Okay. Well, we had a couple of technical difficulties there going live today. I don't know if you were logged into the earlier version of this. If so, I apologize. Everything was jamming up. I could not get this thing to go live. But here we go now. And we're going to talk about commercial work today. I got a phone call from a guy named Haroon. Now, Haroon's new to the country. He's got a six-man painting crew. I guess five plus himself, so six in total. And he heard the podcast and he gave me a call. Thankfully he did. And you know what? We had a great conversation. He's really good with residential work. He's been busy with residential work. As a new immigrant to the country, he's been out there, making it happen. He's employing six people already, but he wants to get commercial work. And he hears people around him saying, we're so busy with commercial work, but he's beating his head against the wall and he can't figure out why he's not getting commercial work. So, as I say, we just had a phone call a little while ago, and from the notes that I wrote down from talking to him, I thought, what a great episode for us to talk about today, because some of you listening have well-established businesses, and COVID has affected you. Some of you are busier than you've ever been. Some people that I've talked to can see a little bit of a glitch coming in the future because of the offset that happened when architects and designers and land planners couldn't do their work, so there's going to be a bit of a dip. And so people are a little bit worried, especially if you rely on too few, so that's not enough general contractors or not enough sources of business bringing you business. If you do that, it's business coaching 101. All of us look for that. It's the first thing we look for. Don't tell anybody. We look for that. But don't allow yourself to fall on that trap and saying, well, we've got this one general contractor and we've got this one project manager at that general contractor, and he or she gives us most of our business, so we're doing great. That's a lot of risk, my friend. So let's talk about the different ways that you can go into the market and find more commercial work. Okay, it's easy, and we're going to walk through it here today. Listen, remember, in your state, in your province, in your city, wherever you are in the world, because this show goes out all over the world. I get pretty interesting messages from people all over the place. There's going to be some different laws. In some places you have to be able to post a bond to be able to do commercial work. In other places, you have to be a licensed contractor. Wink, wink, for those of you who know what I'm talking about. Or you have to have a way to get a licensed contractor working with you. And those things need to be in place, obviously, for the safety of the public, but you need to be able to find those systems and processes. So wherever you are, or if you have questions, give me a shout. But wherever you are, you need to follow your local laws to do that. You can't just start going to do commercial work in a lot of places. You have to be able to prove that you have a real business, that you're going to take care of your people, that you're going to take care of the job site, that you're going to finish the job on time and as promised, etc. And those things are important. All right, let's look at commercial work by breaking up the market. First of all, what is commercial work? Well, for those of you who already know this, you already know the answer, but commercial work isn't so much the kind of work, it's what you want as a contractor out of the work. So when I hear people saying to me, Dom, we want to do more commercial work, I want to grow this business so we get lots of commercial jobs, it's not because they want to paint big buildings or new grocery stores. It's because they want to have their crew go to one place and do one big job instead of doing a bunch of 3-day jobs and moving them all around town. Now, that is one way to look at things. Some of you listening to this or watching this already know that actually doing little 3-day jobs, 5-day jobs all over the place has got really good, strong margins. And it's actually a very good business. But if you don't want to do it, that's fine. The reason people want to do commercial work, again, is because they want to send their crew or their people to one place just to do one big job. But remember, that also comes with a certain amount of risk, right? I'm thinking of an electrical contractor who just during the beginning of this COVID pandemic, the GC ran out of money and shut down the whole site. And this electrical contractor was left holding the bill for a lot of money in labor and materials that were already on site and locked up. So, there is risk that comes along with commercial work, and that risk is smaller with residential work. So you have to figure out really what it is you want to do and then go do that. And obviously I'm familiar and comfortable with both of those conversations. Today we'll talk about commercial. But the big reason people want commercial work is they say less headaches. Dom, I want less headaches. I don't have to worry about picking my guy up at the bus stop and I'm driving him to this new subdivision where he's got to do his work, and then I got to pick him up, and we can't get supplies there because it's not on the map. And there's just less headaches with doing commercial work sometimes. So people want that. Finding new jobs is interesting in commercial work because you need a longer lead time. But there's different kinds of commercial work, and that's what myself and Haroon broke out today. So here's a couple of major ways to get work if you want more commercial work. Number one is go be a subcontractor to somebody else. Let me start by saying this. There is nobody in this world that is allowed to tell you you can't go get business, do business, or sign contracts. Nobody can do that. If you have the will, if you have the desire to go out and get business, go get business, my friend. There's nobody out there who can tell you you can't. So you can drive up to a job site, sign in, wear your hard hat and your PPE, walk onto the job site, ask to speak to the site superintendent, and go find out who they're dealing with in your trade. And then contact that trade and ask if you can be their subcontractor. Simple as that. Now, you know what's going to happen? You're going to get the answer, no. No, we don't need you. We don't like you. We don't know you. We've never heard of you. No. The answer is no. And I said all those mean things right now, so you just get it out of your system. Some people are going to say yes. You only need 1 out of 10 to say yes for you to be wildly successful in anything you do in this world. 1 out of 10. So imagine now, you set yourself up in your mind that you know you're going to get 9 no answers. No. Don't like you, don't need you, don't want you, never heard of you, you can't do it, we don't trust you, everything under the sun. Sure, give it to me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Boom, on number 10, you'll get a commercial job. Is it going to be a big commercial job? Especially for your first one? Probably not. Your first commercial job might be $5,000. But then the second one will be $6,000. And then you'll do a $10,000 one, then you'll do a $25,000, then you'll do a $50,000. And the reason that's important is because you have responsibilities when you're doing commercial work that you can't get away from. You don't want to get your first commercial job as $1 million contract. You don't have the systems, you don't have the processes in place, you don't know how to bill, how to collect, how to do change orders, punch lists, deficiency lists, job site reports, OSHA requirements. You don't have OSHA health and safety. You don't have all those requirements. You don't have the systems for that yet. So start with the small ones and build your business up. You'll do just fine on the small ones. You might find your sweet spot is doing smaller $25,000, $30,000 commercial jobs instead of the $1 million jobs that everybody talks about as if it's something fancy. Those $1 million jobs come with $1 million headaches. The best surfers ride the biggest waves. And when you get to the level where you can do those, go ahead and do those, okay? Nobody in the world can limit your success. I want to read out some names for you. Those of you listening whose names I read out, I'm not going to read your last name. These people all started off being subcontractors by walking onto job sites with business cards and getting their business started. I'm just going to read off the first names that came to my mind. And all of these people now have multi-million-dollar contracting businesses that would be the envy of anybody else. And I know they'd be the envy of anybody else because all of these people are my coaching clients. They all started by handing out business cards, leaving business cards on trucks, walking up to homes, walking up to job sites, walking up to commercial installations and saying, hey, my name is, and this is what we do, and I'd like to get a job. So a shout out goes to Colin, Nick, Mark, Farshad, Doug, Jan, Tyler, Chris, Dustin, Thomas, Jorge, Tiana, and even some more. Now I'm thinking of, I'm not going to go. They all started by doing that same thing. Walk up to the job site you want to do work at, introduce yourself to the person you want to do work with, say hi. I mean, we can't really shake hands anymore, so say hi, offer them some hand sanitizer. Just build a relationship. That's all you got to do. And say, the next time you do a job like this, give me a call. I want to bid on it. And that's how it starts. Now, we'll talk about how to bid on jobs later. As a matter of fact, we've done that a couple times on this channel already. Okay? But ask them if you can bid on the next job. So the next one here is, so that's being a subcontractor. Now we're going to talk about working for a general contractor. And there's different kinds of general contractors out there. It's not just one big lumpy ball of general contractors. There's different kinds of GCs, right? Find the ones in your city who specialize in large commercial jobs and get on the phone with them. Just get on the phone with them. In some companies, you're going to call the general contractor, and some you're going to call their project manager or their estimator. It could be a different position in every company, but you got to call them. Call them, find out what they need, and let them know you want to be on the list when the bids come through. You may never see the bids, but you've got to ask. Now, in every state, in every province, there's a bid registry where everybody sends their bids. Those can be tough to win because everybody and their dog is bidding on those. I'm not talking about those on purpose because those are so easy to find. Everybody finds them. And if you win a job there, everybody's beating each other up there. You want to get your business to the place where if you are a commercial contractor, you and maybe 2 other companies are bidding. So you have a 1 out of 3 chance of winning or a 2 out of 3 chance of losing, right? There's those numbers again. But it's a far better place to be than on the bid boards, those big bid boards, okay? Lots of people are going to say no. Remember that. People will say no, but get ready for that. Get confident in yourself. You're going to hear no a lot. You're going to hear no more than you're going to hear yes. But do the math. If you get one yes for every 9 no's, then you just have to go out and collect as many no answers as you can so you get the yeses as fast as you can. You can be successful beyond all of your dreams. Crazy successful in this world if 9 out of 10 people say no and 1 out of 10 people say yes to you. Insanely successful. So aim for that. It's just thinking differently. That's what this whole game is I need to think differently. Here's something you've heard me say before, and I want to remind you of it now. What I say to myself when no one else is listening is what the world sees when everyone else is watching. So when you're in your car or your truck driving alone to that construction site, you want to go meet that site super, and in your head, he or she is really mean and they're not going to like me, all that stuff. Get that out of your head. You're there to help. It doesn't matter what kind of contracting you do. If you do fire sprinkler fitting, if you do tiling, if you do painting, drywall installations, insulation, architecture, millwork, and cabinetry, it doesn't matter. Human to human, go talk to people. That's all you got to do. Go talk to people and set up relationships. They'll trust you. As soon as they meet you, and as soon as you're real and nice with them and genuine, they'll see that you're a nice and genuine person. And if you truly can be trusted, 1 out of 10 is going to trust you, and you'll get that commercial job. All right, reality check here. Again, your chance of winning that $1 million contract are a long ways away. Go win a $2,000 contract so that you can win a $4,000 contract, so that you can win an $8,000, and so on and so forth. Okay, do not go expecting you're going to win $1 million subcontracting agreement right away. And if you do, your head's going to spin so fast you'll wish it would fall off. You really want to start small so you can learn your systems and processes. Here's another area I want you to look for is something called property managers. Now, Haroon's new to the country. He'd never heard of property managers. To be fair, this guy's got cojones. He's trying to find out how it works in this country and how he can grow, right? So he asked me the question. That's the kind of people we need in this world, who are willing to ask questions when they don't know the answer. So we talked about property managers, right? So what's a property manager? If you live in an apartment building or an apartment complex, townhouse complex, you might have a property manager, somebody who looks after the property, right? So when people move in and out, a repainting is needed, or maybe tiles or drywall needs to be fixed, whatever the trade is that you do, siding, windows, roofing, I don't know what it is, but your trade, property managers need you. And so property managers look after a whole bunch of properties, and they usually have properties all over the place in various states of disrepair, is what they'll say, right? Some of them are brand new, some of them are old, and those old ones need fixing. So why not get on their list? Property managers actually can be easier to get in touch with than some of the GCs. So go and build the relationships there. Get your business card in their hand. Get your phone number in there somewhere on their phone. Call them. Get on a regular follow-up schedule with them, and the work will come. Okay? It's easy to find property managers. Just go to the Googler. You already know how to use the computer. Go there. Type in property manager plus your city. So let's say you live in Austin, Texas. So you just say property manager, Austin, Texas. Boom. The whole list will come up. More than you even need. Write down that list, print it off, do whatever you're going to do, get their phone numbers and phone them. Call them, visit them, do what it takes to get your name in front of them. Okay? The other thing that people don't know about, and this is very well-known marketing strategy, is something called an association. So property managers have associations. Almost every specialized group of people has an association. And that association for property managers is where they all go and meet and have coffee and donuts and talk about the issues that are affecting property managers in their city. And they have meetings and they get together once a month and they have galas and socials and they raise money and all those things. Go find that association list, because you know who's in that association? Only the most serious property managers have taken the time to grow their business to the point as a property manager that they would even think about joining an association. That's why most of the one-on-one coaching clients I work with are already members of some sort of trade association. They might be in the Sprinkler Fitters Association. They might be in the HVAC Association. They're certainly in the woodworking associations all over the world, because they've gotten their business to the point where they want to know what's next, and they've already been around the brightest minds in their industry. So go look for those associations for property managers. And again, it's super easy to find. You can even mistype it if you want, and Google will spell check it for you. I can't make it any more easy than that, but just use Austin, Texas as an example. When I did that, I came up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 while I was on the phone with Haroon. We came up with 5 different places in Austin, 5 different industry associations for property managers, 5 different ones. 5 different associations. If each of those associations has 20 members, that's 100 different property managers right there. Would your company stay busy dealing with 100 property managers? I don't think you can serve them all. Would your business stay busy dealing with 10 property managers? That would keep you pretty busy. What about 5? 5 property managers giving you 2 jobs a month, 2 solid jobs a month. Would that keep you busy? We're talking about 0.5% now. And so these are the places that came up. The Austin National Association of Residential Property Managers. That's a mouthful. I would imagine they don't serve peanut butter at their events. The Austin Apartment Association, the Austin Apartment Management Association, and then BOMA Austin. BOMA is actually a very large group. BOMA is spelled B-O-M-A, and it stands for the Building Owners and Managers Association. I've spoken for that group here many, many years ago. They are in almost every city. Every city that's any size has a BOMA organization in it. Building Owners and Managers Association. How's that for finding commercial work? Everybody at that meeting deals with commercial buildings, and those commercial buildings need their windows washed, need the caulking redone, need the roof anchors replaced, need the stanchions done, need the power washed, whatever your trade is. They need you, and they need you on an ongoing basis. So if you want to find commercial work, go find commercial work. It's out there. There is lots to be had. Now you have to pick apart the market and go after it in a very systematic fashion. But as you know, talking to a guy like me, there's lots of ways. We can find lots of business out there. And by the way, I stopped looking because I got bored of reading off names to him. So I said 5, there's more than that. Anyways, here's another one that people overlook, but it is a very, very powerful one. Those of you who've heard me talk about a client of mine named Martin will recognize this. Martin got his business to $2 million or a $2 million run rate in less than a year and a half. And he did that. He's got a military background. He's a military specialist. For those of you in the military, you know what a specialist is. I take off my hat to those of you who have a military background. Martin's not shy about working hard, but he also likes to work smart. And so he and I started to work together, and he really dug deep into strata councils and HOAs. So, of course, Haroon, new to the country, didn't know what a strata council or HOA was. And so I explained in my best estimation what an HOA is. HOA stands for Homeowner Association. And a strata council, strata is a term, it's used a lot in Canada. HOA is used a lot in the United States. I don't know if you know what the word is in Australia or New Zealand or South Africa, the UK, Ireland, please let me know because I don't know what they're called there. But what it is when you've got a group of townhomes or apartments that everybody owns, there's an association or a little company that's formed to manage the maintenance of the property, the rules, the bylaws, the signage, the landscape. They hire the landscapers, they hire the window cleaners, they hire the people that do the roofing and the inspections, which is where you come in. And that's called either a homeowners association or a strata council. Now, those are so easy to find because, of course, they have their own association. Now, let's not get confused. The homeowner association exists. It's just got a really weird name. But you can go find the homeowner association of your whatever city you're in, because every little group of townhouses or apartments is a homeowners association. And so if you think about your neighborhood's got 50 or 100 HOAs, all of those HOAs belong to some sort of group where they go for their information and inspiration and industry information. So go find them. It's easy to do, and then talk to them and say, hey, listen, I do carpet cleaning, I do roofing, I do solar, I do windows, I do gutters, I do siding, whatever it is you do. They need that. Imagine an apartment building with 300 units in it. Every month, if only, let's say they have a 2% turnover rate. Some of you are already doing this in your head, but I'm going to do this here. 300 times 2% that's 6 units a month. Could you paint 6 units a month? Would that be a good commercial gig for you? I mean, your labor would spike like this, but there's 6 jobs a month right there. So what you already know how to do in residential work can now be applied in a commercial way. It's just easy to do. You just have to know where to go to ask the questions, right? So those are strata councils, homeowner associations, and commercial property managers. And again, the University of Google will spit out all the lists you need, or you can go buy lists, but there's lots to be found there. Now, here's one that gets overlooked all the time, and it's small commercial property owners. Now, what we're talking about here is really people like my uncles, Italian guys who came over to this country, years and years ago scrimped and saved and worked as welders and laborers, carrying drywall onto job sites, but they put aside every penny and they bought an apartment building here and a house there and a commercial warehouse here and over there. And before you know it, they've got 35 different units, commercial units, residential units, and they're just a regular guy in their same pickup truck they've been driving since 1986. That's a classic picture of all of my uncles. And these guys are small commercial property owners, but they got 35 different properties. And yet they still are in a different business. They just have a bunch of properties. Go and be the solution for those guys. Because typically, people like that are very starved for time. So they need a contractor they can trust. I know I can call 1,000 carpet cleaners, but I'm going to call the guy I trust. All he's got is a business card, and he shows up in an unmarked van, but he works like a horse, and I can trust that his work is done all the time. He doesn't need fancy anything. As a matter of fact, there is a carpet cleaner that everybody in my family uses, and they're fighting over him all the time because he's a good guy and he does his work. Every time you meet him, he's sweating like mad because he works hard, and that's the only business card he needs. He gets all the commercial work he wants because he's done a great job with these small commercial property owners. So how do you find them? You're thinking, well, Dom, you live in your city, I live in mine. How am I going to find these guys? You got to go find them. And I'll give you some suggestions. This is going to be interesting for you. This is something people will never hear. None of your competitors will ever hear this. So if you're smart enough to have tuned into the show, good for you. Choose to share this as you will. Small commercial property owners view themselves as real estate investors. And so what you need to do is go find real estate investment groups wherever they are in your city. Some of you might be members of them already because you like real estate. But go join that association or find out about that association and see who the members are. Some people there will own one rental property. Some people there will own 100 rental properties. Go talk to them. They've got lots of work. There is a resource that I really like on the internet. They actually have their own podcast as well. I love their podcast. It's really good. It's called Bigger Pockets. Don't ask me how they got their name. I'm sure they've got a reason for it. But it's called the Bigger Pockets Podcast. And it's all about real estate investing. The people that listen to that show, the people that go to their website and their forums, that grow it and they join their Facebook group, these people are all small commercial property owners, and they need your help. It doesn't matter what trade you are, plumber, electrician, painter, roofer, like I can go through them all. It's not going to help. They need you. So go find these people and get on their list. The key here is, even if you don't like selling, you got to get over it. Don't think of it as selling. It's not selling. It's going out and introducing yourself to people and saying, hey, I can provide a solution. I can paint. I can roof. I can do blacktop. I can do whatever the trade is that you do. Get in front of those people. Have a conversation. Open it up. And before you know it, you'll have commercial work. There's really no magic to it. I wish there was. If there was magic, I'd be selling magic pills. I'm not selling magic pills. I'm selling wisdom. That's what I'm trying to get in front of you is wisdom. How are you going to hear about Bigger Pockets podcast? How are you going to hear that small commercial property owners view themselves as real estate investors? How else are you going to find out that HOAs and strata properties have an ongoing need for commercial property maintenance? By the way, Martin built his business to, like I said, $2 million in a very short time. You can do the same thing. You just have to go out there and talk to them. All right. Thanks so much for checking in. I appreciate it. Had a bit of technical glitches here today with the old Facebook. I wonder if it was me. You never know. Thanks for checking in, folks. I always appreciate it. If you want to be a part of this kind of conversation more and more, join us here on Facebook. We have a private group. It's just for contractors. It's called the Contractor Strategy Group. You can get there here through Profit Toolbelt website. You can get there through the Cabinet Maker Profit System website or Facebook page. And you can get there through my personal page. And then you can apply to join. Thanks for checking in. I really appreciate your time. Have a great day, and we will talk to you soon.